help you guys coach. Let us know. We'll try to work with you guys. But doing it with 2 people is hard. Doing it with 3 people is hard. My recommendation would be at least 4 coaches per team. The guys that are involved. If you can at least get 4 coaches, then I believe that you will be putting yourself in a better position to win. So I guess I'll run through my PowerPoint real quick. For some of you guys who are struggling to recruit coaches, these are just some areas of where I have recruited coaches from before. Churches was always the first spot we'd go to kind of recruit coaches. I've always keyed on recruiting alumni. Alumni were always clutch for me because they're young, they're energetic, and if you can get them to be a part of the team, it could be great success for your whole team. And now you're already developing the next coaches. So you have a cycle. Your franchise will last if you develop these next coaches. The alumni are a good way to do it. Parents, I've had parents before. You know when they kind of want to be involved. Sometimes they just need to be challenged. If you see a parent that constantly comes to pick up their kid each week, most likely he's hanging around. Maybe he'd like to be involved. Maybe there's a small area that he would love to participate in. Maybe he would love to bring the team drinks every week. It's so many ways that kind of people can help. So, I recommend that don't push people away. It's easy to hold the team, with 2 people and say, I'm going to do it by myself, or just, you holding the reins on everything. It's harder to work together, but it's a lot more successful, trust me. This is just some other ones, friends, family members, co-workers. It's really important, guys, to get the staffs up. At least 4. We can get to 4. Here we got building your coaching staff. What should you look for in assistant coaches, right? I know some things you probably shouldn't look for is like if your assistant coach is not really, a team player and you have to pick him up each week to get to practice and he can't take care of himself, and he's just a distraction on the field and in the classroom here, probably not the right guy to have on your team. You guys want guys that are going to buy in to what your coaching staff, your team of coaches is putting out there. If you can easily get distracted, by getting the wrong guys in, but these are just some things. There's a million of them that you can put, but preferably you want a guy that's a godly man, so he can resemble what it means to be a man of God to the kids. Someone that's organized, consistent. I've coached with a lot of people, and sometimes you gotta let people go. I mean, if they're holding you down, the slackers from the coaches that they just don't really want to step up. Maybe coaches that you told a million times to be here, or that you constantly say we're having practice and they're not showing up and they're not returning calls. Maybe they're just not in it. They're not going to give you consistency. They can't even resemble that to the kids. Then maybe they shouldn't be a coach. Someone who's fair, flexible, patient, firm. Those are just some things. If you guys want to add anything what you guys look for when you guys are looking for assistant coaches, you guys can feel free to add if there's anything that you guys would like to add to, just success that you've had recruiting. I don't know if anybody has. Anybody?
I think you mentioned the parents and stuff, but I think that's a big one, man, because you sit there and you watch people just chilling on the sideline. Uncle, a dad, or somebody like that. Rope them in, use them because they're interested in it, and I think there's always a role for everybody, or just about everybody. And so if you're creative, and so I think sometimes you just have your eyes open, you'll have plenty of coaches available.
Right. Another thing too, as you bring these coaches in, give them responsibilities, give them roles. If you just have them coming here and they're doing nothing, you're not really empowering them to do anything. They're not really going to want to be a part, but they're just there to come practice with the kids or whatever. I mean, if you're not giving them any kind of role, if you're not willing to give up the reins on something, then, you're not doing a great job. You're not doing your team service as a head coach. These are just some of the things that you can have as a coach. I mean, some of them you might laugh and, when you see hydration coach, right? Right. But it's real important, right? When you don't have to go and bring that water each week, for the kids, it's a load off of the coach. That's one way you can empower somebody on your team. You have, it says equipment manager, right? Some of you guys are, oh, that's not an important role. That's one of the most important roles. When I got to pick up all that equipment at the end of practice, I would love for somebody to help me out and do that, you know. And some of these areas, you don't have to be the most skilled person to do it. You can develop them in different areas as they go. You come in as an equipment manager, next thing you know you're doing special teams, next thing you know you're running the defense or whatever. You know, always look to train your guys. If you're a good head coach, you're discipling your coaches, you're training your coaches. So these are just some. I'll run through them real quick. There's a lot more that you can add to this too. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach, player development coach. Player development coach would be just someone who's going to work with the rookies, you know, constantly learning how to catch and do the real fundamental stuff that maybe not everybody on your team. You might have a lot of players that are a lot more advanced, but you have this one coach that's focusing in on the little things when it comes to football for the kids. Practice coordinator, someone who's going to come with a plan. So I was given, for you guys that don't know, I do Uber and Lyft at night sometimes, right, to get extra money. And so I picked up this coach, right? I knew he was a coach because I called him, and he said, hey, you reached coach somebody or whatever. So I said, if you give me one strand of advice, what would it be to coaching? And he said, always come prepared. He said that was the key thing for him, was always coming prepared. So he said every time he went to practice, he had that thing laid out on what he was going to do before he got to the field. Because the kids will know when you're out here just, you know, trying to make stuff up. You know, and then if you're not really putting a thought to plan out your practices, you're not getting the most effective practice out of your team. We have here media director, right? So for you guys who have a lot of people that want to do this, maybe this is their area, you get somebody to record practices. You know how great that would be to be able to review practices and scrimmages after the game. Okay, this is not working because this guy keeps biting up. And that's why we keep getting beat deep. Or this guy's covering for someone else on defense, or this guy's not running his route right, that's why this other guy's not getting open. If you can get somebody to record the practices and stuff like that, you'll be a lot better. Player rotation. You know, sometimes you're in the midst of the game and you have all these players wanting to get in, subbed in. But if you have somebody in charge of that, it makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to worry about handling that particular aspect. Now kids, I would say it's very good for kids to know their roles already, right? So if they're going to be a sub player or a player that comes off the bench, let them know that they're a player that comes off the bench. Because if they're coming in thinking they're a starter and they're not getting in, now you got some communication issues. But if you have someone in charge of rotation, that'd be great. We talked about the hydration, strength, and coordinator coach. You got somebody that's really like me, all about fitness. You know, I'm off season. And then just someone, even if you have someone that's just willing to help organize stuff, paperwork, and all the other stuff that maybe you as a coach would love to facilitate to somebody else, you can assign to them. Let's keep going. Coaches' accountability. All right, this is huge, right? How do we hold our coaches accountable, right? So we're worried about the players, but as a head coach and other coaches, we need to also hold our coaches accountable. We can't be telling our kids, don't do this, don't do that. And then we got our assistant coaches doing the exact opposite. You know what I mean? You know, it's hard, you know, to say, hey, you know, not promoting sex before marriage, let alone you're putting up posts at night talking about your mood and these different positions that you want to do on Instagram. I've seen some of you guys do it. But yeah, so one way to hold them kind of accountable is, you know, like we talked about going over roles, but then make sure people are following up with what they're supposed to be doing. Have coaches meetings. I know it might be strenuous, you know, to add that in, but even if it's just a phone call to where you're talking with your coach and saying, hey, you did a really good job doing this, we can improve in this area, or we need somebody that can do this, who wants to pick it up, or just, you know, just say, hey, I see you kind of getting involved with some stuff that we might not want, you know, our coaches to be involved in, you know, just having that honest conversation with your coaches. And then, yeah, just, and also ahead of time, talking about how to hold your coaches, how to hold your coaches accountable. So, well, I know one thing that we want to do is, also is this, and then what do we do, right? So what do we do when our coaches make a mistake? What is it? How do we handle that as coaches? Do we just brush it off, or don't figure it out, or, I'm more worried about the kids? Like, so as far as us, what I wanted to do was, we kind of had code of conducts and stuff like that as coaches and stuff like that, but I would like to have your guys' input and what would be some things that's just like a non-negotiable. You know what I mean? Like if level 1 offense is a severe offense, what would be something so severe that you can't coach? And I would like to come up with this with you guys right now. Like what is it? Some things that we gotta say. Look, if my coach, as a league, if our coach is doing this, we really shouldn't have him involved. Yeah.
I think fighting.
Fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Fighting should be opposite.
Right. So if our coaches is fighting, like do we tell them, hey, you guys know going in, like that's not what we're about. And if we can't control our own coaches, how are we going to control our kids? If you guys are adding to the fight. So I think that's a good one. What are some other things you guys think are some non-negotiables? Like, if a coach does this, he should not be involved. And he should be. Maybe,
How about if they're late?
Late? That's an offense, right? So we can put that in. Would that be a minor offense or a significant offense?
Too many of them.
We just all got kicked out.
Right. So and these are the 3 levels. So that's a good one, Joe. What are some other things?
They put a hand on the player.
Yeah.
But they hit a player. Right. That was before we had that accountability. Right? So now going forward, well, good, but yeah, hitting the player, right? Touching the player, right? Somebody inappropriately touching the kid, like that should be, that's a non-negotiable, right? We can't have a coach filling up on our players. How about
The referees.
huh? What's that?
Same with the referees. too.
Same with the refs too. Yeah, absolutely.
Beating up the referees.
Beating up the referee. That's just like fighting. You know what I mean? Like you change the mood of your team when you're so aggressive and you're arguing with these referees. The kids, they feel that. You know what I mean? And it changes the way they play. Any other things that you guys can think? Foul language, right? So where would you put that under? Constant cursing. Severe, significant, minor.
What they saying? There's a whole lot of
Significant, I think.
Right.
There's a whole lot. That's severe.
Huh? That's severe? Right. So look, we're gonna take what you guys give us and we're gonna develop this system and we're gonna use it to hold each other accountable. It's not just for you guys, it's for our staff too. You know what I mean? Like, it's for all of us. And any other ones that you guys kind of have. Because this is real important to us, yeah.
No drugs before practice.
No drugs before practice. Right. So yeah. So if you have a problem, supposed to, you don't want to bring that. You don't want to bring that to the field. We really don't want you guys doing that. But
I would say as a coach, you shouldn't do drugs at all.
right.
But if you have a struggle
Right.
and you do it, then that's something that needs to be dealt with. Because I understand, I had my issues too doing drugs. But this is a mentoring program, and as a brotherhood, we can help the coaches. They truly are struggling. They I can't give up. But I think that's something that you don't want to have your kids know
Right.
that you're doing that. Because we don't want to promote drugs to the kids we're mentoring. I even had a coach who would smoke cigarettes. And I understand that you can smoke cigarettes, but you don't want to do it around the kids, So, I think that's something serious that we need to deal with.
I think that's huge, man. I mean, I think we starting to see more and more. I haven't seen a lot of coaches, but a lot more people are definitely feeling more free to come to the field and smoke. And I think us as coaches, when we see that, we need to stop ignoring it and let them know, like, hey, you can. That's all you want to smoke, but not here. This is our field right now. Any other stuff? I don't know how much time I got here while we're kind of going over, so I got like 2-3 minutes. Any other stuff that you guys think is just out of line? Like, we can't have a coach doing that. How about encounters with mothers of players? Relax. I'm just a friendly guy.
Because if a mother coming at me, I can't. I'm not.
know someone, and then when the kid's not in your program, you develop a a relationship. But it's one thing when mom's throwing it at you and you taking it like, hey, you grown, yeah. But what are we showing the kids? You know what I mean? Like at that same time, and it's the kid's mom.
Wait till the off season. Wait till the off season, bro.
And trust me, look, for some of the younger guys, I mean, the moms are a little older now, but as you get older, the moms start to get closer and closer to your age. Right, so right now I'm still
way
young,
older
I
than
ain't
all
gotta worry about it, but some of these other guys, like Chris, Ness, and all these other guys, might be a little bit more tempting down the road.
Hey, I'm into the grandmas.
But yeah, so I guess in closing, just as you guys think of some other stuff, and there's